Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Hoy es jueves, el 19 de noviembre. Your warm-up for today is exercise 10, page 56, where you can see it's a T-chart. You don't need to create a T-chart in the chat in Zoom, but essentially what you're going to do is indicate two adjectives on each side of this column, one side being yo soy. So pick two adjectives that you would use to describe you, that you think describe you best. And then on this side, two adjectives that do not describe you at all, that you cannot relate to. So yo soy and two adjectives that describe you, no soy and two adjectives that do not. We're going to review the grammar concept that we talked about on Tuesday on los adjetivos, talking about the endings of masculine and feminine adjectives, the endings of gender-neutral adjectives, and then some endings of adjectives. For example, trabajador, to make that feminine, how we would do that by adding an A. And then deportista is an example of some adjectives that, even though they end in A, we can use them for both masculine and feminine nouns. So we'll pick up where we left off there. We'll do exercise 8 together, where you're describing what each of these characters are like using the descriptive adjective vocabulary from this chapter, and then putting it in a complete sentence like this example here about Paloma. Paloma es trabajadora. You're going to put sentences together just like that with different adjectives according to the pictures. Exercise 10 we already did for our warm-up. Exercise 12 is a writing activity where you guys are going to introduce yourself and then use three adjectives to describe yourself. You can see they're highlighted there, so you just replace the ones in the example with those that describe you, and then you're going to talk about your best friend. What is he or she like? Or you can choose a family member if you prefer. What are they like? Introduce them, and then use three adjectives and make sure that they end according to the gender of the person that you are talking about. 13 is the next exercise, and that's a conversation activity. I'll do part A for you. Right? These are the vocabulary terms from chapter 1A, what you like to do in your free time. ¿Cierto? ¿Te gusta correr? ¿Te gusta trabajar? ¿Te gusta practicar deportes? ¿Te gusta dibujar? ¿Te gusta esquiar? Right? I'm going to ask you during class, do you like to do these things? And you'll respond by saying sí. Soy, and then you're going to pick an adjective that you would associate with that activity. For example, sí soy deportista. If you like to run, you must be sporty or athletic of some sort. Or you'd say no soy, again, por ejemplo, deportista. Or, yeah, maybe you like to do that activity, but you wouldn't describe yourself as, for example, sporty or athletic. Then you would say, sí me gusta correr, pero no soy muy deportista, right? So pick the adjective that you would closely associate with the subject. That's exercise 13. And then your homework for next class, and it's actually going to be due on Friday evening at midnight, but get her done as soon as possible. It's the Y tú qué dices, ejercicio 15, páginas 59. You're going to create a poem, just like the one in the example here. And the poem consists of three parts. The first part, after you introduce yourself, is to indicate two adjectives that describe you in general. You can use the same adjectives that you used in your warm-up for today. Right? So, en general, soy, and then you're going to replace these two adjectives in green with your two adjectives and make sure that they agree with your gender. Ending in O for masculine, ending in A for feminine, or ending in E if it's gender neutral. The next portion, you're going to give three adjectives that describe you, how you tend to be sometimes, right? A veces is sometimes. A veces soy, and then again, three adjectives, any three adjectives that describe what you're like sometimes, what you tend to be like. Then the last part, two adjectives that don't describe you at all, right? No soy ni, two adjectives that you cannot relate to. And then you're going to conclude by saying yo soy yo. So soy and your name to say I am, present yourself, and then go through and replace those adjectives with the ones that you would most closely relate to. And then once you're done with the written portion, you include three pictures of you doing your thing. I mean, if you include artística as one of your adjectives, well, then include some of your artwork or your performing arts that you're into, theater, what have you. If you're sociable, cierto, then include you and your friends or you and your family. If you are graciosa, right, funny or humorous, well, put you laughing with your friends, right? Pick three pictures that best describe you, best reflect you, and include that in your submission. And that is our agenda for jueves, el 19 de noviembre, and your only homework assignment is there. Submit that in Canvas. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hasta pronto, muchachos. Adios.